class, I actually have one doubt. Like, what is exactly the difference between Latinate and lazy?
Lazy. Okay.
Lazy and Latinate difference.
Late in it means, let's say we will take a one variable result or
Mm,
API result. Okay. And means uh, we don't know the this variable value in advance.
mm,
Okay.
mm,
But we are sure we will get a API response, and after that we are able to display something to the user on our UI. Am I right?
Okay.
So for that we will go with the late in it.
Okay.
Okay. And we are saying, hey, we are sure we will get the data for this variable. So we are right now we don't have a data. This is late in it.
Mm,
Okay.
mm,
And when you want, I have a variable. Okay. Please
mm,
listen carefully and observe the difference. Okay. When you are saying, hey, I have this variable, but I don't want to allocate the memory to this.
mm,
Allocate the memory or occupy the space there. Makes sense. When it's come in a use, then I need to provide the required things. You understand my point?
mm,
You can think of, so when you are sitting in a, you can say, restaurant. Okay. And you are sitting in a restaurant and you will you have a, you can say, option to means request for, you have option to opt anything from a menu and go for order. Am I right? You can order that. Am I right?
mm, mm,
So earlier you order this means you list down like coffee or you can say idli dosa in your list. But
mm,
at a time you, when you will not, or you don't want means all should be available on the same time. Make sense? So
mm,
whenever you require this coffee, then you will just say, hey, just give me a coffee. He will deliver that coffee to you only. Make sense?
mm,
And next, when you require that, you can say your dosa, then they will serve dosa
mm,
to you. Means things are already in place, but you are able to get when you require. You
mm.
understand my point? That's a lazy.
Okay.
Okay. Any
Mm,
other question or concern?
mm,
No?
mm.
Should we move forward for our today lecture?
Yes.
And today we need to discuss about oops. Okay. So before sharing my screen and discussing the content, I need to know what you understand from this. Oops.
Loops is basically object-oriented programming. So basically, it's like basic focused on an object rather than functions. So everything will be an object inside an object. There will be a class, and the functions will be like called. There will be like functions in the class, and there will be variables within the class, and then you can create an object of it and then access the functions or variables. So basically it focuses on objects, so it has objects class, and there are certain pillars of oops, which is like abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism, and encapsulation. Encapsulation is where you capsule everything into one small module, which is the class. You capsule everything into that, and you restrict the access to the outer world using the access modifiers in Java, basically. And Inheritance is basically when you inherit or you get the properties from a particular class and you have your own properties as well. So you acquire all the you basically take all the properties from the parent and then you have it in the have your own properties in the child as well. So that is inheritance. And abstraction is basically not showing the logic to the end user. Like basically, if there are like certain functions that needs to be called, we will be not writing the logic of it so that the end user will be able to see it. So basically, it will be inside a different class or maybe like a factory class or something, and then we will be calling that. So the code itself is not actually visible to the user. Only the function that is being called is visible to the user. So that is like abstraction. You're abstracting it is hiding the implementation basically. So you are hiding the implementation and you're just calling the function, and the end user will be able to just see the function call. So that is abstraction, and polymorphism is like it is like existing in more than one forms. There is compile time polymorphism and there is runtime polymorphism. Compile time polymorphism is basically when it happens when method overloading takes place. So in method overloading, basically we know that which method will be called during the runtime. It is already known during the compile time. So that is compile time polymorphism. You can have like more than one method with the same name, but you need to have different uh, parameters to it. The order or the type should be changed. Only a change in return type will not be sufficient. So that is how method overloading is done. So here actually we know that which method we are calling. Like during the compile time itself, we know which method we are calling. But if there is like if you are going to runtime polymorphism, it's basically like if you have two classes, a parent and a child class, and you have a function that is defined in both the classes, and now you're creating an object of the child and you're calling this particular function. So you do not know which function will be invoked in the runtime. Only during the runtime you will come to know about the function that is going to be invoked. During the compile time, you will have no idea about which function is going to be invoked. So that is runtime polymorphism. It is also it is the ability of a variable to exist to basically hold like hold the values of all of its um, inheriting variables. Like suppose you have a parent class and you have child 1 and child 2. So the ability of the parent to hold both child 1 and child 2 at the like during the program is actually called runtime polymorphism.
Okay. And what is the difference between abstract class and interface?
So the difference between abstract class and interface is that in abstract class you can have basically you can have constructors. In inheritance I'm sorry, in interface you can't have constructors. And there is like um, in interface we can have only static final variables, public static final variables. But in abstract class we can have any kind of variables, it doesn't matter. And basically in abstract class in interfaces before till Java 8 came, in interfaces we had only uh, like function definitions would not be there, only the function what do you say, the signature would be there in the uh,
Yes,
sorry.
yes. Definition out there, signatures are there. Or
Yeah,
declaration is there, definition not there.
it's only declaration is there, definition is not there. And that is still Java 8, but after Java 8, from Java 8, we have like we could have other functions, default functions, and we could have static functions, private functions, and all in the interface. But before Java 8, it was like no, only like abstract functions would be there in the interfaces. Those are some of the differences.
Okay. And where you will use interface, where you will go for abstract class.
Uh, Basically, if you have like hmm, uh, if you have classes that are very closely related and they share the common code, then basically we will be using abstract class. Interface is like basically like mm, it actually we will use an interface when you want to define what something can do and not what it is. So that is basically when you use an interface. But for closely related classes, I think we use the abstract class only.
Could you give me one real time example? Because as I told you, means I like to listen from real world example. If you are able to do that.
Okay. So basically, if we are having, suppose, mm, if we are making payments, so you are having different types of payments. So by card or by UPI or any other method. So we can have an interface payment, and then we can have the payment method in the interface. We can leverage that in the like in the card payment or the UPI payment classes. And that is basically where interface will be we can use. And where would we use an abstract class? Basically, I think suppose you have um, mm, maybe something like you have a class called ride, and you have some like you have something like distance in it, and you are calculating the fare of the ride. uh, so and you have an abstract function in it, wherein which you are returning the how much it will be cost for per kilometer if you are having that. So that will be an abstract function. So when you like uh, say you go with a car, or you go in an auto or in a bus or something like that, you can actually extend from this ride, and you can basically extend the function of getting the rate per kilometer. You can extend it in the like bus, car, auto ride, like that. You can extend the ride class, and you can implement those functions in your code.
Okay. Could we say in a normal language where means we have a partially clarity is there? Am I right? Means hey,
Mm,
this need to be implemented. This need to be implemented. Some parts are not clear. That we are leaving that implementation on a child classes
mm,
or user. Am I right? Then we
mm,
go with the abstract
mm,
classes.
mm,
When we don't know When we don't know, means and we are leaving everything or lying for everything on our you can say this user or child, then we go for this interface.
mm,
Simple term. You understand
mm,
my point?
mm.
And apart from that, what is has a relation, is a and has a relationship? What do you understand from those two terms?
Uh,
Is a, has a.
uh, so has is basically like uh owning something. Like uh like I have a book or I have something. So that is basically like it is used when something is owned. Isse is like i- i- it is like when it is belonging to a particular category. Like uh, uh, she like if uh, she is a some personality like that. So it says like use it should be used when something belongs to a category or is being defined. The other one has is basically something that we own. Uh, yeah.
Okay. And as per your understanding, what is tight coupling? Okay. And you need to tell me if you go with the is a is a relationship, and then it's mean tight coupling is there or not. If you go with the has a relationship, then it's tight coupling is not. And what are the use cases where you go with the this is a relationship, and what are the use cases where you will go with the this has a relationship?
Okay. So tight coupling is basically when in a program when one part is like very much dependent on other, and like when the mm, when like two or more parts of a program, they are very much dependent on each other. So if one part changes, the other part is like very likely to break or need changes. So that is called tight coupling. Uh, then what was it? Coupling, I am not sure, like is say or has say
Think,
automatically how it.
take your time, and you need to come up with the answer. Which one is purely depend. One is means increase the tight coupling. With the in that that's a concept of tight coupling. Okay, one is without tight coupling. You need to think and let me know which one is means increase the coupling and which is not increase the coupling. Take your time and think.
Mm,
Has a is a.
maybe has say
It will do increase the coupling.
because I
Amira,
am not sure.
has a you can say less coupling. Let's say you are owning a car. You can sell that car anytime. Am I right? You can
Mm,
sell that car to me.
mm,
But if you have a child, or if, let's say you are a child of your parents, am I right?
mm,
Then they cannot replace you. They cannot sell you, isn't it?
mm.
Tight coupling is there. And if
So
you
for
change,
is say.
is a yes. If you change, if something, if your parents are, you can say, if my parents are ill or suffering something, definitely it will impact my life as well, isn't it?
Mm,
It's a vice means. So same. That's why it's a tight coupling is there. You
okay.
understand my point?
Mm,
So today we will discuss all these things in our class. Okay,
okay.
abstract class things, so that before going to go there, I need to make your mind so that you are aware of these things. Okay,
Mm,
Let me share my screen. When you are able to see my screen, please let me know. Okay. So,
Yes, I can see.
so right now, this is our topic which we need to discuss. Close all. Let me open that again. Let me open that. Mhm. Okay. So today we focus on a oops in Kotlin. So from Java style oops to idiomatic Kotlin oops. So we will understand this terminology. You need to keep this thing in mind. Okay. So object-oriented programming, as we discussed in you can say a discussion, it's a modeling of real entities like human being, animal. If you want to represent this in your means programming, then we'll use oops. Am I right? Encapsulation data plus behavior. Class is nothing. It will encapsulate your data plus behavior in a single unit, which you already explained. Building scalable system. Okay. And Java, as we hear this term verbose so many times and explicitly control. But here it's a concise, expressive, and safer defaults. This here you can say philosophy of the Kotlin. Three words you need to remember: concise, expressive, and safer. Okay. So now in a Java, if you need to create a class, then boilerplate is there. You already know. But here it's a, you can say static. Okay, what is you can say instance variables or instance member of the class, and what are the class members?
I did not get the question.
You know what is the instance variable and what is class variable?
Instance variable is basically uh, it's like uh, the variables that is defined within the class. Class variable should be, I think, like which we are accessing with the class without creating an object. So it should be static.
Any real-time example?
Uh, like mm, if you have something, suppose you have a class user and there are things that are changing, but it is the same for all the users, for all the objects, that particular thing will be the same. Maybe I'm not getting an example correctly. Maybe that particular variable will be the same for all the objects. So in
Yeah.
that case, we can make it a static.
You can think of a society name, which is same for all the society members. Am I right?
Mm.
Am I right? Or you
Yes.
can think of your class or college name, which is means common for all the students of that particular college. So those are the candidate for class members.
Mm. Mm.
Am I right?
Yes.
so so here, hope this problem is clear to you.
Mhm.
Boilerplate models. Am I right? Because
Mm,
here we need to write, each time we need to write this getter and setter. Okay.
mm,
And what about this static misuse? Means here we have only this method only. Am I right?
mm,
And we are using this again and again. And this year we'll check this. And third problem is inheritance complex. Everything is open. What you understand from everything is open?
mm. Inheritance. You can inherit anything from the base class.
Yes, means you can modify anything.
Mm,
It's a mutable. Makes sense. You
mm,
can override the function, you can do the changes there. Am I right?
mm,
Let's say you have one class, and if you will, whatever properties are there, you can change that property. Okay.
mm,
In a subclass, means child class, I am saying that. I am not saying means you can change the class. No. Okay. Now, Kotlin design decision. Classes are final by default. Makes sense. You can't
mm,
change.
mm,
Properties replace field plus getter and setter. In here we have a property which replace with the field plus getter and setter.
mm,
Companion object replace subject static. Okay.
mm,
Companion means you are my companion. Think of you are my companion. Am I right? And
mm,
we are working for the same goal, so it's a companion. It's replace static
mm,
and explicitly inheritance open. Makes sense. So you can think of Kotlin is managing everything for you, but with the provision, if you want to take a extra steps, you can take that, but with your own responsibility. Makes sense.
mm,
So sometime we are able to read the message on our own risk. Am I right? Parking space available based on our own risk. Am I right? So Kotlin is saying same thing. If you want to do that, you can do that, but you need to tell me, hey, I am going to take the ownership.
mm,
You understand my point, Amira?
mm.
Okay, when to use oops. Use modeling real system employee bank order, encapsulating logic, designing scalable architecture. So real life mapping, employee class, bank account class, order class. Okay.
Mm.
Classes and constructor. What do you understand from constructor?
Constructor is called whenever an object is like created. Constructor is invoked.
Okay, could you give me one real time example?
Real time, like if you have one user class and you are having one constructor, if you're creating an object of that user, then actually the constructor will be invoked. If there is no constructor that is there, then Java will create its own constructor, and that will be called.
So you can think of when you going to purchase something, a car, or you can say some, you can say pizza, then they have a variety of options. Makes sense. Pizza, you can say if you don't have a choice, you can get a pizza with a, you can say, default things like, or which are the bare minimum things are required, like base is required, toppings are required. Am I right?
Mm,
Or but at default, you will go with that constructor only, which is mandatory required for creating that object. Mandatory bare minimum things are required, then you will go with that constructor only. But if you require, you can say, have your own flavor or own choice, then toppings are there, which you can add-on. Makes sense. Then second constructor should be there, which will have that capability. You can pass a third property or fourth property. Okay, so that's called constructor overloading. Okay, so means while creating a object, bare minimum, what is bare minimum required? That we will take on a creation time only. Okay, means while creating, we are creating our object. Okay, so it's constructor required. So because bare minimum property we require, so that's why Kotlin come up with the primary constructor. Makes sense. There is no need to repeat this thing again. We need to write the property and this. They will simply do this thing. Okay. And for multiple property, you can add multiple property. Okay. If it's not fit to you, you have a complex logic, then you can go with this as well. This is secondary constructor. Do you have any concern or question?
Like if no constructor is there, will Kotlin create its own constructor?
No, you need bare minimum. This is a primary constructor. Default constructor is not there.
So basically, Kotlin will not create any constructor if there is no.
No, you need to mention this. You can say if, let's say, if you're not mentioning this, am I right? Then it's a means constructor. There is no property. If you are mentioning this, it will create for you only with this. Make sense? And this is secondary constructor. And this is a init block means while creating the things, it will call automatically. Maybe you want to initialize the value with some default value, then init comes in a picture. You understand my point? Means primary constructor, secondary constructor, and init. If you have any question, then feel free to ask. Otherwise, we will move forward for our next topic.
So what I had like read somewhere before is that Kotlin also creates the no-R constructor. When there is no constructor, it creates a default constructor.
But if let's say it's creating a default constructor, but if you will go with the default constructor, then even though it's there, what is the use of that? You understand my point? Then we are losing our USP of constructor. You understand my point or not? Then default constructor come in a picture when you don't know the exact value of a object initially. Later point of that you will get the value.
Anyway, if there is no constructor and you're creating one class, I mean object, then anyway a constructor should be invoked. So Java
Yes,
should be, I mean Kotlin should be having its default constructor, right?
yes. So when you are going with a secondary constructor, then if you want to create, you can say like without any values, maybe you will get those values of that object later. And definitely that's an important concern. That's a use of default constructor. Am I right? Okay, no worries. We will check whatever question you have. We will check in a practical manner. No worries. Okay. But conceptually, if you have any question or concern, feel free to ask. Mira,
Okay.
could you move ahead? So here you are able to see this is a property. So here is a property and this getter and setter, which we tagged earlier. Now it's a this. And here mutable property. If you use val, that means earlier you used private and things. Here we are using val and var. You know what is the purpose of this, am I right?
Mm.
Okay, so based on that, you will setting the private and protected. There is no specific, you can say private and protected. Deep inside property, field, getter, setter combined. Okay,
Mm.
but sometime if you require, then you can go with the this custom getter setter.
Okay.
Okay, so this is your getter and this is your setter. This is custom setter. You can do that.
Mm.
Okay, any question or concern?
Mm.
Let's say you want to means combine, you can say you apply something on our this username, make it uppercase, so you can combine first name and last name. Then you go with the this custom getter and setter.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Deep inside field, backing field, full control when needed. Means if you are not using any custom thing, then you are Kotlin is handling everything for you. Makes sense under the hood. If you
Mm.
require, then it's there. Then you can go with that as well. Like here, you are validating the age from its setter only. Am I right?
Mm.
Visibility modifier here, public default, visibility and private inside class, protected class plus subclass, internal module level. Okay,
I did not understand that.
means in Java we have access modifiers. Am I right?
Mm.
But here those are, you can say, so if we talk about this public, you anyone can use. Let's say your community hall. Am I right?
Mm.
And private, your home or your fridge or thing or private life. Protected child can use. Parents, you can say business or money. Internal module level only, where module can use. So here these are there and private value is 1 to 3. You can no one can use outside this. Am I right?
Mm. So do we give it as default val name equal to like that we give default we give the keyword.
Default, no. It's a scope. It's a scope. Means by default, if you're not using private, it's a public.
So do we have access modifiers in Kotlin?
Yes, that's why we are able to write this.
Okay, so public, private, protected, and internal are the access modifiers that we have in
Yes.
Kotlin.
Yeah, by default public. If you are not mentioning everything, these properties are public. Okay. So you can say in this, if you are not mentioning anything, it's a protected or I think so. Yes, those are also, yes, those are protected. So here everything by default, everything is public. Properties, I'm talking about property only. So these properties are public. Makes sense? Mira.
That that property is private, no? Private val feature.
Okay, let me do one thing. Kotlin. Kotlin. Playground. So here we can say class user constructor. Hmm. Well, hmm. Local variable values. Constructor user age. Hmm. Hmm. Must be necessary to be abstract. It is. Okay. Mhm. Mhm. Name string and Yes. Age. Okay. So now by default, as we checked, it's a you can say this only. So if you mention this private, then you cannot access this outside. Sorry, wait. So, where age is not private in a user. You understand my point, Mira? Mira? Amira?
No, no.
No?
Mm.
Okay, let me do one thing. Okay. So let me take a same example in Java. Mm, So here we have Java, Java, and here we will write this, and here we will say string, string name, and here we will say user this dot name. Okay, void void name public class demo public static void name string as public static void name string of data debug and console of system dot out dot ln debug dot name. Actually mean in Java and Kotlin have their own behavior. Am I right? In a Java means your class is you can say open. You can modify the things, but in this it's close. Finally means final. Final is nothing. It's a runtime. You can say constant. Am I right? So for okay. So here I need to show you with this example here, Mira means if we do same thing, how it's behave. Okay. So I'm just waiting for us to run this. Now you understand the behavior of this Kotlin, am I right?
Mm.
You need to explicitly mention this private, otherwise everything is public. Properties are fields are public there. You understand this point?
Mm.
And for that, like it is taking time to run. Demo.java. Oh, sorry. This is a syntax of Kotlin. Should be a like this way. Name. Okay, we will check the output. So let's go there. This is not our content. Always there is a confusion from when we will write our code of one language and switching, working on two languages. Mm. So no worries. So let's symbol system dot out internet. Cannot find symbol system dot out internet. I'm just trying to explain you means that table is defining the behavior. Makes sense? If you're not defining any, you can say access modifier, then it's taking that property as a public. Okay. If you are defining here it should be private, then you need to explicitly mention that. Now things are clear to you regarding this table or not, Mira?
Little bit confused.
Okay, if you are confused, then there is no alternative. Then we need to, you can say, discuss this thing first, then we can move ahead. Hmm. Because there is no mean to move ahead if you have a confusion.
Mm.
Okay. Okay, let me do one thing because it's taking time here. I'm going to copy these things and move to online Java compiler. Hmm. Okay. What we'll do here. So, so here you are able to see it's also a public. You are able to access. Am I right? So this is behavior is same. If you make it private, then you cannot. Now you understand the purpose of that table, or still you are confused?
What I'm confused is about the constructors. Like,
Yes.
uh,
No, it's a property. Scope of the property. Let's say you
so,
have your own, you can say privacy. Am I right? Means every your parents have their own privacy, isn't it? So, but you have something is common in a family which anyone can use. Am I right? So that table is defining those things only, scope only, modifier and scope, nothing else.
what I'm asking is like, if you go back to that example,
Where?
that example uh, in your theory,
This one?
uh, yeah. So here there is no constructor. So a default constructor will be
Yeah.
created, no?
So because we are giving a value, default value there, we are already
But
giving a
if you are
default
not
value.
giving default value, then
Then you can say this, we need to initialize this default constructor should be there. Let me do this for you. And if you don't have this constructor as well, then you can mm, let's take this. You want to check the impact of this, am I right? So are we able to create in this manner or not? Must be initializing or abstract. You understand? You understand? If you have the values, then it's mandatory to initialize in a primary constructor. Otherwise, go with the abstract class. That's why I told you, means every time I told you, if you have any question concern, you can do that. Check the things in a practical manner. Just learn by doing. You understand my point?
okay.
Just check. Whatever you have a doubt, just check there. So I think so we need to bind up the today class and we will connect in the next day and cover these topics. Okay.
Okay.
Let me stop the recording, Amira.